It's time for that kitty. All right. No, but really, today we're going to be talking about two PowKiddy devices. We have the PowKiddy V20 rocking the A133P chipset, which is a vertical that has just come out, as well as the PowKiddy X35H, which is a new horizontal rocking a very familiar chipset with the RK3566. Both of these are new offerings that don't really move the needle necessarily, and they may be the right ones for you because if one thing can be said about PowKiddy is that they offer competent handhelds, sometimes awesome handhelds, at a really fair and reasonable price. PowKiddy sent over a V20 and an X35H for review, and Geek sent over one of each for review as well. In today's video, we are going to just be looking at both devices. This will be a multi-review. Let's see what the heck's going on with this PowKiddy. All right, let's hop in. Let's look at the V20 first. Oh, that's kind of cool. You know, this reminds me of the RGB, what is it, the RGB10 Max? Right, you know, PowKiddy always does well on the face buttons. Those always are very just satisfying. They feel good. Oh, that D-pad though. It's serviceable, a little chunky, presses down in the middle, but I would say pivot is okay. It's kind of shallow. Look at this. The stick placement's not bad, and they're kind of nice and recessed. Look at that. Looks like we have two USB-Cs on the bottom. One's DC, one's OTG, 3.5 headphone out, power button on the left, reset button on the left. We have volume up and down on the right, nothing on top. In the back, we have a battery compartment, which you can open up to replace if you need. And we have these, oh no. We had that problem on the R36S, but we fixed that with the mod, mostly. They're not horribly loud or anything, but let's take a listen. Quiet clicks on the sticks. Mono front firing speaker, and this is rocking a 3.5-inch IPS display, 640 by 480. This has that Allwinner A133P, a Cortex A53 processor there with the PowerVR GE8300 GPU, 1 GB of DDR3 RAM, up to 256 GB for the microSD card, which looks like we have a slot on the right, slot on the left, 5,000 milliamp-hour battery, which is really nice to see, a little bit bigger battery. They claim 10 hours, and this comes with Linux, a build of BatleXP. So PowKiddy just keeps iterating on their devices. Nice, steady improvements. One thing though that they've downgraded here is look at those heckin' bezels. Just look at those bezels. Why? What are we doing? So there could be some other custom firmware options coming to this, but at the moment they just have the standard build of BatleXP on here. Nothing too special. What's most important though about this is that it comes with fun stickers. Yes, that's right. We have a red sticker we can combine here, or we have a blue sticker. Which do you think we should do? Yeah, let's do blue. Okay, here's how you pull this off. Look at that. Ban, that's how you do it, Ban. Now I know on Ban's unit, he was having speaker crackling at higher volumes, so let's see. I don't have any speaker crackling so far in this one. Not bad for a mono firing speaker, actually. A little tinny, but not too bad. This retails for $55 USD. You can get it below if you're interested. And this comes in a few different colors. You get yellow, gray here, or transparent black. And now I happen to have a yellow here, so we'll take a look at that. Ooh, it's an interesting shade of yellow. Okay, so there's no Wi-Fi. However, you should be able to plug in a Wi-Fi adapter, a Wi-Fi dongle, if you need it. Okay, now for the yellow, I feel like the red's gonna work really well. Gotta apply the sticker real quick. Look at this. It's like a light yellow. That's definitely a new yellow for PowKiddy. I do prefer though the gray because I like the fun red buttons. It reminds me of the Game Boy DMG. So having the A133P means that we're gonna have the same chipset and performance if you're used to already using, or you've seen videos about the TrimUI Brick, which I have a modding video to come on this, or on the Android side of things for the A133P, the MagicX Zero 28. Yeah, this is a great pocketable device. Speaking of pocketability, don't worry about my shorts. Moving on over to the PowKiddy. Yeah, not too bad actually. It doesn't really protrude. The sticks are nice and recessed, which is great. This could be a great option because as far as looking at prices, these are all around the same price, and it's really like, do you want a bigger, if you want this particular performance in this chipset, do you want a bigger vertical? This definitely feels pretty good one-handing it. I do prefer the mushy rubber membrane when given the option. These have nice concave sticks. These are slightly convex sticks. But no joystick grind as you move around. Same with the 028. Nice quiet shoulders on the brick as well. But if we compare to similar verticals in the similar form factor, something like an RK3566 you see on the RG353V and VS from Anbernic, yeah, this is just going to feel better overall. And if you want something a little bit lower performing, but just amazing button feel, you can look at the BatleXP G350, which I'm a big fan of this. It does, again, come with that Rock Chip 3326, but I think for 35 bucks, you can't beat it. And this is around, you know, $70, $80 now. More in the PowKiddy family of devices, you have the RGB20 Pro. It's a very tall machine. And we can't forget the R36S by Game Console. D-pad kind of reminds me of the R36S, similar kind of style there. I would say maybe it's just a little bit better pivot. Face buttons though are going to be better on the PowKiddy there. Joysticks feel about the same, and the original back buttons on this are definitely worse than the PowKiddy. Okay, so let's play a few games. Let's try some N64. Maybe some Cruisin' World, racing versus racing, PS1 racing versus N64 racing. What's your favorite retro console for racing games? I feel like PS1 had the edge, but I don't know. Let's cruise the world. Okay, so we're getting some stutter here right off the bat. All right, well that just quit. That's good. That was a little bit clunky. Feels like we're getting full frames here without frame skip going. So I can tell you now, this is not the most comfortable experience two-handing it and trying to reach these analog sticks. If I were to play like a one-handed maybe RPG, this would be a little more comfortable. It's not bad. I mean, it does remind me of the feel of the, you know, RG353V, RGB20 Pro. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of speaker crackling here, just a little bit of distortion. It's almost as if the emulation is just not quite synced right. Yeah, we're getting some stutter there. That is not loving that, because you can get flawless PS1 even on the cheaper RK3326. So I wonder what we have going on here. Now, I always say, you know, get custom firmware if custom firmware is available, but today we're going to be showing you, again, just the stock experience here. The brightness levels aren't too bad, so we get, this is the dimmest it gets, which you can play in bed if you cover up that LED. And yeah, that's the brightest we get, so not a ton of brightness levels. Getting a little bit of warmth on the back there, just right there. We have the shelf design, slightly ergonomic. At least your hands kind of rest there, which is nice. Now, I kind of like the looser D-pad sometimes. This is like a very mushy, loose D-pad. I don't like, though, how it kind of bumps up in the middle. That's my only annoyance here, but let's just do a quick D-pad test, and let's move on to the X35H. Again, more to come on this chipset as I get more acquainted. I'm getting some audio crackle as well on this Pico 8 core. The sticks are very serviceable, though. I mean, these are your standard switch sticks. They're on-hall sticks. All right, let's see how many we get in a row. 1, 2. Oh, missed one. Yeah, we're getting some missed Hadoukens there. This D-pad feels like it could maybe be broken in a little bit, but the membranes are just a little sloppy, so you really have to be intentional. You have to like, push down and make sure like you are hitting what you want on that D-pad when you're pivoting. So maybe just a little too loose, a little too sloppy. All right, so that gives us a good idea of what to expect from the PowKiddy V20. I'm gonna be playing in this one more. I'll include my final thoughts on this when I do maybe like a showdown video or something like that with all the A133P devices. X35H. If you are still on the video, thank you for watching this. If you like these style of videos, let me know in the comments. And if you're still here, thank you. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. That really helps us out, and we are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year. Okay, so today we have a blue X35H, and we also have another blue X35H. One from PowKiddy, one from Geek. So this is your standard RK3566, but here as well you don't have Wi-Fi, but other specs are going to be 3.5-inch IPS LCD display, 640 by 480 with a 4:3 aspect ratio, Rockchip RK3566 with a Mali G52 GPU, 1 GB of LPDDR4X RAM, a little bit smaller 3000 mAh battery, 1 mini HDMI port, 2 USB-C ports, and 1 3.5mm headphone jack. This is available from PowKiddy.com or AliExpress, and check the coupons in our description on PowKiddy's website. You can get yourself this for 50, normally retails at 60. 181 grams for the weight. This does come in transparent blue, transparent black, orange, and white. Ooh, it has those glossy face buttons. And actually this is a different button feel. A little bit different size buttons too. These depress much, a little bit shorter, and they depress a little easier. These are more definitely tactile. This reminds me of the R36S face buttons. Very similar. They're better, they're a little bit better than this, but not by much. D-pad feels similar. It's a little bit tighter and stiffer. The sticks are interesting. I wonder if those might be Hall sticks, and they don't recess as much. They're sticking up a bit more. I think they might be, yeah. Now I heard that different designers made these two. This one was not the main design team. James DeWitt's, I believe, was saying that this is another team that handled this, another sector of PowKiddy, whereas this was made by their like main design team. So this is maybe a little bit of an offshoot. There is some ergonomic bump out on the back, which is nice to see. And the transparent blue shell isn't too bad. It's a dark blue. You do have clicky, a little bit louder shoulder buttons. They're placed pretty well, but they are kind of loud. A little ASMR there. There you go for the buttons. A little bit louder joysticks. Bottom, you have that USB-C. You have two microSD card slots, a reset port there, 2 down-firing stereo speakers, volume up and down on top. Actually, you have video out on this, which is great. A mini HDMI, OTG port up top, and the power button. Okay, let's turn it on. And this one comes with the PowKiddy OS. The other operating system that you could load on here right now is going to be Gamma OS Core. That is in beta. If you're interested, this will just be the stock experience today. That's kind of cool. I like this minimalist, like MinUI style theme. Actually, it reminds me of like the Onion OS theme. Oh, D-pad kind of moved on its own there. Do a gamepad test? That's okay. Sure. Pivot through the directions. This D-pad is not very good. It's missing directions. Look at that. Look at that. That is not good. That's not great. Oh no. You gotta be so intentional. Look at this. For some reason, L3 and R3 randomly presses on the up button and the left. Oh no. Oh no, no. All right, this handheld definitely feels cheaper overall. Not bad for the speakers. Yeah. Those don't sound awful. If you want to know more about this chipset and see what it can do, we have probably 100 videos on our channel at this point that cover this. This should not be giving us slowdown, but this is even worse than the A133P. I like the sticks though. Let me try these. Yeah, this is awful. That's No, thank you. Kind of a comfortable though form factor. I definitely like, and I like the matte plastic feel, this transparent blue. That feels pretty good. This newer build of the software definitely has been less jank overall. Should we try Cruising World and see if it's any different, if they've improved it? Nope. Okay, let's take a look at this D-pad, right? Okay, I'm missing a lot of Hadoukens on this one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It is really tough. I got like 1 out of 5 there. Oh, this thing is, I don't know. This should not be more expensive. This is $5 more expensive. The retail cost anyways, $60 versus $55 on the V20. The V20 is superior to this in many ways so far. How do I get it out of here? This is just not a user-friendly device, really. I mean, that PowKiddy OS though I'm interested in. I'd like to see them cook a little bit more on that, but not really enjoying this experience so far. There's basic things on this that are just wrong. The false inputs on the D-pad. The stick accidentally triggering the D-pad. All the speakers are pretty good, and the IPS display is fine. But the software experience, not having easy hotkeys to increase and decrease the brightness, it's not getting like hot or anything though, which is good. Not really ergonomic. That bump out is so slight, right? You know. Let's do Captain Skyhawk just to make sure I'm not crazy. But why do we have turbo? Why do we have turbo mode on the buttons engaged? Okay, okay, right. The buttons are just not the standard, so they're swapped. Okay, yeah, just again the missed inputs there. I just want to stop using this handheld. Can I stop using this now? Like, can I just stop? Yeah, I think let's just stop while we're ahead here. All right, well, let's wrap up. Well, what did you think of the PowKiddy V20 and the X35H? Two very different handhelds. Released around the same time for around the same price point, $55, $60, but with that coupon you can get this for $50. I do have a fun Easter egg version coming, and I already regret it. The V20 though, this thing I'm gonna keep playing on. This is pretty cool. I like a lot of things about it. The speaker's okay, and the sticks are fine. In fact, I'd even maybe remove the sticks so it's just a dedicated, Game Boy style device. But face buttons feel good. D-pad works really well in practice. It's just loose enough and has a nice satisfying kind of pivot to it. I really like. Shoulder buttons a little bit loud, but they're fine. And a lot of the retro stuff, if you're not gonna use shoulder buttons, whatever, but we could probably improve these. I like the BatleXP OS on here. This is not like a perfect handheld. That's the thing on these PowKiddies though too, is that you start to use them for a while and the D-pad and the face buttons start to get all glossy. But for the price point, $55, you're not getting Wi-Fi. You are getting just a fun kind of experience. It's not super unique in any way, but really, you'll be served fine by like a nice $25 to $30 R36S. The value is there, and this is still one of the best budgets you can get today. And my favorite, you really cannot go wrong with the BatleXP G350. So I really do recommend this one. And in a sea of options, fine is just not good enough in 2025. And these are two handhelds that are fine, but maybe not good enough. This X35H, it's not better than anything else. However, the highlight on this, I think, is the joysticks and those speakers. Face buttons are okay. Shoulders are okay. Janky software that could use some refinements. This one I would say not a recommend. This one for $55, okay. Till next time, we gotta enjoy our PowKiddy. I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share to stay in the know for all of your favorite retro handhelds. And a special thanks once again to our channel members, patrons, and subs for making everything here possible for us. Perks with RH start for as little as $3 a month. Join us in the Discord to chat and play games, and join me on the next episode of our podcast where we're going to be joined by Retro Tech Dad and Ban to talk about all sorts of nonsense and good times and the latest in retro handheld news. But until the next one, this has been Stubbs saying, take care of those gosh darn heckin' handhelds and each other. Bye.